مشاهدينا اهلا بيكم معانا وحلقه جديده من مصر قريبه. احنا موجودين في الفيوم، مدينه رائعه، جوها حلو جدا زي ما قلنا دايما، الخضره واللون السماء مع البحيره، بحيره قارون، كل دي يعني زي ما بيقولوا وجه كمان الحسن. الناس اللي هنا اهل مدينه الفيوم، حقيقي مكان جميل. غير قريه تونس اللي ابتدت اصلا بفكره الباتري او فكره الفخار اللي ابتدتها ايفيلين، اتبنت القريه كلها وابتدت تيجي ناس وبزنس يتعمل هنا كبير جدا، سواء مطاعم او فنادق او غيره. احنا النهارده عاملين حلقه مخصوص عشان نتكلم على الدمج ما بين المشاريع المختلفه اللي ممكن تكون بتتعمل في الفيوم. زي ما احنا بنشوف دايما انه صناعه الفخار، والفيوم مشهوره بصناعه الفخار، كمان بقى ازاي نستخدم الفخار في المشاريع الموجوده في الاوتيلات وفي المطاعم. هنروح لمطعم جميل جدا. المطعم ده مش بس مطعم، هو مطعم وكمان مدرسه لتعليم الشباب الصغير ازاي يطبخوا، ازاي يعملوا اكلات مصريه حلوه، وفيها لمسات كمان من سويسريه او من سويسرا. معانا شيف اسمه ماركوس ايتن، وهو شخصيه مشهوره جدا بتشتغل في مجال الطبخ بقالها سنين طويله، لف العالم كله يمكن من اكتر البلاد اللي قعد فيها مده طويله جنوب افريقيا، وقعد كمان فتره طويله في جنوب كوريا، وجي بقى يعيش في مصر. كان بقاله 25 سنه في مصر، لكن بقاله سنتين وشويه قاعد في الفيوم. قرر ان هو يعمل بيزنس هنا ويعلم الولاد اللي عايشين هنا ازاي يطبخوا ويعملوا اكلات حلوه. انتوا عارفين الفيوم مشهوره اصلا بالاكلات الحلوه زي البط وغيره من الاكلات الحلوه، لكن هو بيعلمهم ازاي يعملوا دمج ما بين الاكلات المشهوره العالميه المختلفه. تعالوا نشوف الحلقه، هتعجبكم جدا، ونشوف يمكن حاجه مختلفه على اللي احنا متعودين نشوفه في الباقي. Mr. Olivier, for how long you've been here in Fayoum?
I have been here 18 years.
Did you visit any other places than in Fayoum?
Everywhere in Egypt there is a road I have been.
but in Fayoum, the one you decide to settle here?
I live here, yes.
Why?
I built the house because it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
You decide to stay here?
Yeah.
What do you like the most in Fayoum?
Tranquility, nature, people. Beautiful.
Is there any difference between your home country and here in Fayoum?
Just a little bit, yeah.
A little bit? What about the sun?
Everything. Here we have the sun all the time. In Switzerland, the sun is a luxury.
Okay. And do you have your family with you here?
I have my wife here. My children are grown up already. So.
Tell me about the place. You choose to make a different hotel, and you are one of the pioneer here in Al Fayoum to make a business like this. Would you tell me about the Green Hotel and how you decide to make such a place, such a great place?
Well, I've been living in Egypt. I was vice president for 4 seasons for 15 years in Egypt. So I opened all the 4 seasons in Egypt. And when I retired, I love this place. I decided to make a little 5-star resort in Fayum, and that's what we have done. We have really, really extreme luxury here. It's at the level of any 5-star international chains, but it's very small, so we can really take care of everybody.
How many rooms, as you told me?
We have 14 suites.
14.
Yeah, and they are pretty big. They are about 75 square meter each suite, with a double jacuzzi inside. Very, very nice and artistically appointed.
Would you tell me about the details? I think the landscape itself, every corner, it's art. Would you tell me about the design and
well, we've lived in a lot of places, my wife and I, all over the world, and we have many things from many different places. Also, our taste has been affected by the places where we lived. So there is a lot of detail. There's a lot of art. There's a lot of objects, and we designed it with a lot of love, and I think it reflects that.
Tell me about the place that it took you a long time to make.
Well, the gardens. The garden has been all terraced. It's a 4 of garden that my wife has designed and take care of.
I saw that you expanded too.
Yes, we have, and we hope to build another 15 suites within the next year or year and a half, and so we'll be about 30 suites altogether when it's all said and done.
In this pandemic, I guess there's a lot of thinking, a lot of different thinking. That's the hotels not the traditional way to build anymore. We have to build it in eco to save eco and in green hotels. Tell me about this experience.
We do all the hot water with solar panel. So we also recycle the water. All the water is recycled. We have an eco unit. We were the first one in Egypt to have an actually eco unit for a hotel, and we recycle.
18 years ago, I guess it's rare.
Well, no, the eco unit is about 2 years old, and we recycle all the water and use it for irrigation.
But the building itself, it's from the environment, I guess.
Well, the building is from here. Yeah, I mean, it's built by the village, and all the people that work here are pretty much from the village. So it's a very small, well-knit community. Most of the employees have been here for many years with us, so it's like a family, really. We are about 40 employees for 14 suites, so the service is extreme.
Do you think that the tourist itself is going to change? His needs going to change after this pandemic and this virus all over the world?
Of course, now smaller hotel is better. I mean, big hotels means big risk. A small hotel like this one, where you have a lot of space, a lot of open space, you can see all the dining tables are all in the garden, so people can eat safely and in a beautiful environment. I think tourism will change, has changed. We depend pretty much 100% on Egyptian tourism, and I think that's the key right now in the pandemic to take advantage of that, because tourists will not come for a long time. And voila. Vive l'Égypte.
You know that Egyptian cuisine, it's different than any other cuisines. Can you tell me the difference between Swiss cuisine and the Egyptian cuisine?
Oh, it's very different. But the restaurant we have here is an Egyptian restaurant.
Okay,
so
it's tradition.
Traditional food. Yeah. Best pigeon, best duck, and best moloheya.
Is there any secret about the Swiss and الفيوم?
No,
lots of Swiss from Switzerland in Fayum.
Well, we seek the sun.
Grab each other?
Seek the sun.
Yeah,
I think the sun is what grabs us, It's a luxury in Switzerland.
Your dream?
My dream is to be healthy and happy.
And the place for the place and for...
The place is beautiful, and I hope that everybody comes and enjoy.
Are you going to expand more?
A little bit,
if
not too much.
Possible?
Yeah, we can.
It's a pleasure to have you here in Egypt, and you are one of us right now.
Thank you.
And hope to see you soon and more tourism, inshallah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
شيف ماركس ايتن ده من الشخصيات المشهوره جدا في الفيوم، بقاله 25 سنه تقريبا في مصر. والحقيقه انه قبل ما يجي مصر راح جنوب افريقيا وراح كوريا الشماليه، والحقيقه انه جه مصر وقرر ان هو يستقر بقى في الفيوم، فعمل مطعم. مش بس بقى عمل مطعم، كمان عمل مدرسه عشان يعلم الولاد الصغيرين او الشباب الصغير اللي عايشين هنا في الفيوم او اهل الفيوم، يعلمهم الطبخ. Hello, Chef Marcus. After 25 years in Egypt, if you can describe those 25 years in words, what you gonna say?
Not much.
Why?
Yes, there could be a book be written about it. It was very exciting. There's ups and downs like everywhere else in the world. Life is not easy, especially if you want to do it well. It's hard work. And if you stop working hard, you lose it along the line and you miss the train. So there we are. 27 years, exactly.
27, not 25?
No, this was some years ago.
And how many years in Fayoum?
Fayoum, we are now full-time here with the Ibis restaurant since 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
But previously we have a house down the road 2 kilometers away since 13, 14 years already.
But you decided to stay here?
Oh yes, it's better in Cairo.
Yes, Cairo, it's crowd, of course.
It's crowded, noisy, pollution. We have here quite a bit less, and this gets quite enjoyable. And of course, it's outdoor, and the main thing is we're still going to have students again next month, so we can teach some more young people of how to handle a knife and how to apply the basic cooking methods which they have to know to be able to make a living.
You worked at South Africa and you worked on Korea. South Korea. Would you tell us about this experience and what the difference between Egyptian cuisine, South Africa cuisine, and Asia?
It's another world. Another world, another culture. You can't compare the Middle East against anybody else in the whole planet Earth. South far more millipap, which is a corn-based product. Lots of meat, about 300 gram per person per day they consume, which is not that here at all. Very heavy and very rich foods. That's South Africa. South Korea, of course, is a complete different culture. So yes, when you look at this namul, it's like a messe, 96 different dishes, and there's one piece of meat and one piece of chicken, and the rest is vegetables. Vegetables. So they have their rice for breakfast and their raw fish for breakfast. Everything is completely different culture. You can't compare it anywhere in the world. No way.
And what about Egyptian cuisine? What distinguishes the Egyptian cuisine?
Good question. Very good question. Who knows? When I consider what I had in Beirut and what I had in Damascus, on variety, selection, and unique individual tastes.
We have so many things in common in Middle East.
In common, but not in flavor. Here, basically, we taste of garlic, every single message. That's not in Damascus or Lebanon, and everything has a unique what it's actually supposed to be. It's not covered with garlic or covered with the onion. And there I think the Egyptian, due to the ever-growing population, loses that real deep slow cooking tajin done properly in the baladi forno, which is far superior than anything else you can buy. Yes, we used to do this in Luxor. And our potato tajin, our chicken, our fish, and our vegetable tajins. After the baladi forno was stopped operating for breakfast. So yes, we're going to we're going ahead very fast in many ways, but not in cultural identity on food.
Chef Marcus, you've gained extensive experience in culinary arts competitions and served as member of the jury at many distinguished international culinary competitions. How you found it throughout the years as a jury?
In Egypt?
Everywhere.
Things changed tremendously, which is very positive. We have, instead of the old cold displays, basically completely abolished. Today people have live kitchens. They have to, so the food is not wasted. Food is sold to the community, and it's the best due to the jury, how they organize, like in a restaurant, like they organize the back of the house, the mise en place, the stand-up, the service. All this is then judged, and this is today forward. To me, there should be no food waste in the competition.
How you met Marianne? How you met her, and how she convinced you to make a business in Fayoum?
Good question. I offered her a sandwich. I still owe her one. This was many years ago. Now Miriam helped me out initially. She working for a newspaper those days, and I wanted to make a magazine 24 years ago. And of course I had no link, but I met her due to a competition dinner she was attending, and I met her and I contacted her later on again. So we were talking about Miriam, right? And after that she assisted me in the first competition with the Ramses Hilton, and she then decided to join us, the Egyptian Chefs Association, and since then she's the director of the Egyptian Chefs Association. I'm the volunteer. I have the
Honorary, yes.
Honorary after 2-3 years ago I gave it over to Hossein Eldin, which at the end of the day it's not an Egyptian association or Swiss association, is Egyptian Chefs Association. And there we are, and she's still operating this with her team in Cairo.
How she convinced you to establish business?
Convincing this was, we always brought chefs here or friends who come to visit us in Fayoum to Mahmoud Yusuf, because he's got one of the finest potteries in the village.
Yeah.
And one day Mahmoud asked us if he can make him some sandwiches for the upcoming pottery festival. This was several years ago. Well, 3 weeks later we had this.
Okay.
So out of a sandwich become a restaurant.
It's your way, the sandwiches. It's your magic.
Well, I never gave anybody a sandwich. That's the whole thing. It's not even on a menu. So
We want to talk about submerge two kinds of arts, the pottery arts and the culinary arts. I think you do it in a very perfect way. Tell us more about those two kinds of art.
this is an art form. When you look at the pottery, the skill and knowledge you need to know just to select the right clay. Not every clay is a good clay. To have that insights, this takes years and years of practice and knowledge and skill. And then of course to shape it into the right shape, thickness. And then comes the baking process. Before the baking, of course, is then the painting or the engraving, whatever they call it, I'm not so sure. And then comes the baking, which is tremendously sensitive to keep the right temperature for so many hours. And then comes the glazing, and all this is an art form you can't learn in a week. This is 8-9 years of serious practical experience and knowledge and skill. Same like in food. Food knowledge is one thing, and then after that you should be able to cut the carrot into 12 different shapes. And then you can apply it in 14 different cooking ways, and then you can apply whatever herbs and spices you want. So we have a few thousand recipes about a carrot. It's not just so simple. No. It's an art form. Now the art form comes only, the one who makes the art is the leader, or the chef in charge. He creates things. The other one follows his instructions. It's like an army. As a general, everybody follows the general. There is nobody who refuses the general's orders. That's the same thing here. You don't want your team to think themselves and create their own dishes on the menu, because then it will be the inconsistency. There is one boss, he wants it done that way, six pieces, this size, this grammage, so much sauce. That's it. You execute. You don't execute, you're not with me. Simple as that.
That's right. You know that the tourist himself, he's gonna change. I think he gonna consider the great food or the healthy food much more right now after this pandemic and so on. What do you think? Is it right?
It is a trend, and I think the Egyptian community has to really address this very seriously, very quickly. What is healthy food? What is healthy food? Fresh food. Full stop. Nothing more to it.
Not too much oil, not too much...
Oil you need, the fat part you need to get flavor in the system to a portion. But when you look also sugar consumption, a little gypsy bag, two cubes of sugar in there. This is that whole thing. We are convenience, yes, but convenience. Good food is not convenience. Good food take a lot of passion, a lot of attention to detail. Like making a basil pesto you see behind you. This is halfway done. Now comes the fining up with the right speed machine, and then we have this beautiful product which is fresh. Freshly done.
What about your touch? I think that your food distinguished than any other food. What about your touch?
Salt and pepper. That's it. When you look at this coriander, what does the coriander taste like? This is what coriander is, right? Now, what are they going to do with it? Nothing. It's got a unique flavor. It doesn't need anything else. So I give this. Or this fried zucchini. I put a piece of salt. This will be my garnish. This I'm putting in a dustbin. That's what I'm saying. It's salt and pepper.
Yeah.
No, it's understanding what you can do with debris, leftovers, and everything is usable. God gave us all these foods in the world, but we only make it halfway, and the rest is not executed. And this takes a lot of time, a lot of patience, a lot of practice, and several hours extra work per day.
How's business right now in this pandemic? How's business?
Brilliant.
Fayoum, especially Fayoum.
Fayoum, definitely. We at least with us at least 50% bigger than last year.
Great. What about the Fayoum famous traditions and famous food or yes, fatir? Fatir.
Yeah, very nice.
Pigeon. What about pigeon? Ducks?
I'm not serving pigeon.
It's hard, I guess.
I'm not doing this to myself. Now this is the neighbor, Komaldike, Ahmed Mufti, he runs this.
You can do it?
He can do it, I don't. Why should I compete?
It's Fatir, one of the famous
These are how beautiful old lady, she makes it for us every morning.
Yes, of course I know, but it's something to distinguish the chefs that they use their own hands,
You see,
not gloves and...
this misunderstood. When I work with onion,
Yes, you have to feel it your hands.
so
Huh?
it's not the feeling. So when I finish this job, and now I want to do something else, I need to take my plastic
Yes.
wraps off, and I
Oh my God! The flavor, yes, it's ruined the flavor. Yes, I know.
Number one. Number two is the garbage. one garbage full of plastic wraps.
Yes.
You do it right.
This is
Okay.
destroying the eco. Yes.
500 years later, I still find it.
Yeah, I know.
If I wash my hands regularly,
The environment can.
more clean with bacteria, then
طيب.
I have bacteria and I take from one to the other to cross-contamination immediately. So I walk here and then I open my door. Now this is here. And the next one who touches there is again, he takes this away. Now I wash my hands regularly with soap and water and sanitize. I'm much cleaner.
Sometimes when I cook, I use my hand. I feel a great feeling using my hand, even seasoning the food.
Because there's very few plastic gloves who fit properly. And when you cut, you can even cut some of the plastic into your food.
Oh my God.
Very easy.
Very dangerous.
And then when you cut, and if I don't change my gloves, every time I do another task,
Yes, I understand.
I carry this bacteria.
Yes,
But if I wash,
كويس.
sanitize,
حلو.
hot water,
Yes.
good soap quality, and I wash regularly,
Okay.
you solve 98% of the problem.
كنت بسأل الشيف ماركوس لان في ناس تقول لك ايه لا الشيف لازم يلبس جوانتي وبتاع، لكن الحقيقه هو بيتكلم من وجهه نظر، وفي وجهه نظر مثلا بتقول انه الشيف لازم يحس الاكل بايديه، لازم يكون بيحط الملح والفلفل يحس بالكميه بايديه غير لما يبقى البني ادم لابس جوانتي. هو ليه وجهه نظر ثانيه صديقه للبيئه، هو بيتكلم على انه انا لو لبست جلافز او جوانتي كل ما هاجي اعمل حاجه هضطر اقلعه والبس واحد تاني عشان الطعم بيتغير. بيقول لك هيبقى عندنا سله مليانه بالبلاستيك الطبيعه ما بتعرفش تهضمه بعد حتى 20 سنه، يبقى صعب جدا ان هو يدوب في الطبيعه، فده حاجه مدمره. فهو سعيد باستخدامه لايديه واحساسه بالاكل، بالاضافه لانه كمان بيحافظ على البيئه. حماده من الناس هم يعني مريم وماركوس رشحوا لنا حماده عشان نعمل معاه لقاء، لانه واضح ان هو شخصيه لطيفه. ازيك يا حماده؟
اهلا وسهلا.
اولا انت بتعمل حاجه غريبه جدا، انا اول كنت فاكراه جزر لكن لقيته برتقال، فاحكي لنا ايه الحكايه؟
ده الحكايه ان قشر البرتقال بنستخدمه عشان ما نرموش برضو، طبعا ده توفير للمطعم، وبالنسبه الثانيه ليه بيبقى شكله لطيف جدا، فليه اكلت كيك في الديزرت في كل حاجه.
يعني بتستعملوه يتحط زي سيرب كده او يتحط عليه سكر ويعملوه؟
بنعمل منه سيرب، وبنعمل برضو بنستخدمه هو في
رانش التزويق الحاجه.
بس هو طعمه لذيذ جدا يعني.
طب انت بقالك قد ايه يا حماده بتشتغل معاهم؟
هو انا بقالي 3 سنين معاهم.
3 سنين، كويس قوي.
اشتغلت اول سنه على البار، بعدين على السلطات، بعدين شويه على البيتزا، بعدين جيت المدرسه.
ايوه احكي لنا بقى على حكايه المدرسه، ايه اللي بيحصل بالظبط في المدرسه؟
دخلت المدرسه مع شيف ماركوس سنه، انا و6 اصحابي منهم حواس برضو. شيف حواس هنا شغال على البيتزا والفطار معنا. ودخلنا المدرسه كنا بنشتغل على منوالات، المانوال في تقريبا 1000 صفحه كده.
يا نهار ده كتير جدا. ها
خدنا كل واحد تقريبا 10 منوال زي كده. فقرانا المنوالات واشتغلنا على عملي برضو، اشتغلنا في عملي، فهو علمنا بصراحه. فبعدين الشيف ماركوس عجبني شغله وكده.
طريقته في التعامل معاكوا حلوه يعني، وعمال رايح جاي يقول لك اتكلموا معايا لو سمحتوا فيومي، ما تتكلموش معايا الماني.
هو بصراحه لما يكون دماغه كويسه بيبقى كويس، بس ساعه ما يكون في اوردرات وكده شغل مفيش هزار. بس ساعه ما نكون قاعدين مع بعض بيعلمنا غير المطبخ، برضه بيعلمنا حاجات كتير برضه بره المطبخ والطبيعه وكل حاجه.
كويس. اتعلمت حاجات كتير في المدرسه وابتديت تستفيد منها في شغلك دلوقتي.
بصراحه انا اتعلمت كل حاجه في المدرسه.
كويس.
عشان انا كنت شغل قبل كده فغير المطبخ خالص. كان سلطات وخضار بس.
انا مبسوطه ليه بقى يا حماده؟ لان انت عارف على مستوى العالم المطبخ ده بقى بيعمل دعايه للسياحه، يعني ايطالينا بيعملوا دعايه من المطبخ بتاعهم، الفرنساويين دعايه من المطبخ بتاعهم، فبالتالي المطبخ ده بقى صناعه كبيره جدا في السياحه.
في السياحه
انت بتشارك في سياحه بلدك يعني.
الحمد لله. وبرضه برشح اي طالب يدخل مدرسه هنا عندنا. ف الشيف ماركوس كويس، هو يعني في ناس بتقول مش كويس، بس هو كويس في التعامل وبيعلمنا، وبمعنى صح ان هو بيعلمنا، فبيدخل لنا احنا فلوس مش ليه هو احنا اللي بندفع تقريبا كان 3000 جنيه، بس 3000 جنيه دلوقتي اتعوضت كتير. فاي حد من تونس ولا من الفيوم هيشوف الفيديو ده لازم يخش المدرسه.
انت بتعمل دعايه ليه يعني؟
طبعا. مش دعايه.
طيب قولي ايه الاكلات اللي انتوا بتعملوها او مشهورين بيها هنا بقى؟
احنا تقريبا مشهورين بالباسطات الايطالي، والسمك برضو جميل جدا.
ليكوا لمسات خاصه غير العادي، غير اللي بيتقدم في
تونس كلها. فاحنا هنا مختلفين جدا. تونس كلها بط وحمام وكده. يعني اكل فيوم.
انا مبسوطه كمان ان انتوا ما بترموش حاجه زي ما بتقول، يعني هو ده بقى الخطه اللي جايه، ان محدش هيرمي حاجه خلاص. فكره ان المطبخ يبقى خارج منه كميات اكل هدر، ده مش هيحصل.
فكره الشيف، فكره تعلم الشيف ماركوس اصلا في ان ما نهدرش في الاكل،
تحافظ على
الاكل وازاي تحافظ على الحاجه اللي معاك وتحدد البرودكتس اللي انت بتستخدمه قدامك. هو دي الفكره في المدرسه كلها اصلا.
كويس. مريم هي المسؤولة التنفيذية عن مؤسسة ليها علاقة بالشيف المصري بشكل عام، ودي مؤسسة مشهورة جدا على مستوى مصر وعلى مستوى العالم كمان، لأنها بيبقى فيها تعاون مع سويسرا. مريم هي زوجة ماركس أو شيف ماركس إيتن، وهي شخصية لطيفة جدا بتحب الشغل كتير. هنتكلم معاها ونشوف هي عملت إيه. Good afternoon, Mariam.
Good afternoon. How are you?
How are you? Tell me about this business. How long you've been here? 2 years and a half?
For the Ibis Restaurant and Cooking School, this we are doing now our third season. So it exists already 2 years and 2 months now. And this is our third season, yeah. And the Egyptian Chef Association, that is since 1998 that I work there. So that is already a long time now, 22 years. Yeah.
Chef Marcos told us that your love story or your marriage started with sandwich. Is it true? He offers you a sandwich or something like that?
It's actually it's a bit right. I mean, I used to work in journalism, like you before.
Magazine, yeah.
And then you know, in journalism, very often there's no money, so we never had actually really money to go out. So at that time there was a party at the Movenpick Heliopolis. So my colleagues convinced me to go to this party because at least we would get something to eat, you know. So this is where I met him. Yeah.
You traveled to so many places in so many countries. What do you like the most in Egypt, especially El Fayum?
I think in general the people are very kind. They have a good sense of humor. I like people who have a sense of humor, and I think the greenery and the water and the desert combined in one country. This I like. And very often, maybe what some Egyptians don't like is that it's a bit disorganized and messy. But I like it that it's a bit disorganized by times. Yeah, it's not all very straight.
How did you convince Marcus to make a business such as this business, restaurant and a school for kids or for youth?
Yeah, well, if we talk about the two things, the Egyptian Chef Association, this is really Chef Marcus. He wanted to establish it, and he was asking my assistants to help him to develop this because I worked in journalism to make a magazine for the association, a newsletter, and out of doing that as a volunteer in the beginning, I started building the whole association from membership to sponsorship to events, management, and all these things. So this was for the Egyptian Chef Association. Concerning Ibis Restaurant and Cooking School, yes, it was more my idea because we both really like Fayum, and we're getting a bit older, and after 26 years Cairo, I said really I think it would be nice if we have a project in Fayum, and also to do the cooking school because Chef Marcus he really likes teaching, and we did the culinary training centers Egypt before in 6th of October. It was a great success. We graduated 850 students with City and Guild certification, but that sadly enough closed in 2015. So we were looking for something on a smaller scale at the moment without too much funding. We only had a little Swiss fund from the Swiss embassy for the school part, and in this way we're trying to make it self-sustainable now ourselves with the restaurant supporting the cooking school, so we don't depend too much on funding, so it can continue the project. Yeah.
Your specialties in here in your cuisine?
I think my specialty is I learned a lot, of course, about also the kitchen, which was not really my specialty except for my passion for cooking. But I learned a lot in 22 years Egyptian Chef Association and being next to Chef Marcus and many chefs. So I learned a lot. But my specialty was more also into the customer service and the service side of the restaurant and management in general.
How you manage, how you deal with workers here, the element of language and so on?
We speak actually combination of English and Arabic, because for them it's very good to learn more English if they want to advance in this field. Because if you want to advance in the restaurant hotel business, English is quite important for tourism. So I think this is a real benefit for them if they can pick up more English. And by being 28 years now in Egypt, I know quite a lot of Arabic as well. So it's a combination of both. And I think it's also because we're working with them. We are not managers who sit down and give orders. I myself, I'm working the service. Chef Marcus himself is working in the kitchen. So they also see how you do things and learn by seeing, because it's much better than just by the book or by talking. It's just like, oh, this is how she's doing it. So they start imitating, so it works much better.
What about the business? Right now it's empty, but I know it's weekend, it turns all over the place, and it much more tourists.
Yeah, Fayum is quite up and down in business. I mean, it's always in the weekends we get many people from Cairo. So a restaurant where you during the week maybe serve 20, 30 people can turn in the weekend to 150, 200 per day. Yeah, but that is also why we have this project to combine it with the cooking school. So during the week when it's not so busy, we can concentrate more on the training aspect of the staff and teaching other people the science of cooking, so they can find better opportunities in life to work. So.
Did you make all the precautions for the virus and the hygiene?
Yes, because the rules are quite clear. Yeah? So we are in the outdoors. This helps us a lot with the social distancing. Also among the staff, we have a spacious kitchen, so this helps. And further on having temperature check and disinfected on the table, etc. Yes, and the face mask, of course, not now because I'm talking to you, but normally yes. So we put this all in place. It's a very important disinfectant also for the equipment and the cutlery and the plates when they come back, so they go through an extra cycle of after cleaning them with hot water and soap, disinfectant and rinsing again and so on. So we put this all in place. Yeah. And then after that it's up to the guests to also keep to the rules, because
Mariam, thank you for having us, and it's a pleasure to have you here in Egypt, and wish you all success.
Thank you very much for coming to visit us, and hope to see you again very soon.
ازيك الاول؟
اهلا بحضرتك.
انت بقالك قد ايه بتشتغل مع ماركوس ومريم؟
انا بقالي 3 سنين.
احكي لنا كده يعني نوع الجاست اللي بيجي هنا او نوع السائح اللي بيجي هنا بيبقى طبيعته ايه، بيبقى متطلباته ايه؟
هنا السياح ما فيش حد معين، هو كله تمام. هو بيجي هنا عشان الاستجمام في القريه، الهدوء، الطبيعه. هنا بيحبوا الخضره، بيحبوا الفلاحين جدا. بيجوا هنا عشان يستجموا، يطلعوا مثلا سفاري، يروحوا وادي الحيتان، يروحوا وادي الريان. طبعا هنا بيكون الحاجه برايفت، بينزلوا حمام السباحه طبعا.
يعني قول لي كده، قريه تونس الشباب فيها خلاص زي ما تقول ايه، عملوا نفسهم مشاريع من ضمنها طبعا الفخار، لكن احكي لنا كده ازاي عمالين يطوروا نفسهم وبيحضروا معارض بره وبعدين يجوا هنا يشاركوا مطاعم ويشاركوا في مدارس وغيره.
طبعا هنا طبعا القريه السبب في شرطه القريه واحده اسمها مدام ايفلين بوري. مدام ايفلين دي سويسريه، جت القريه هنا من حوالي 60 سنه. طبعا جت القريه، هي خريجه من تطبيق اسمها خزة. لقيت الاولاد بيلعبوا بالطينه، بيعملوا حيوانات والعاب بالطينه وهكذا. طبعا قررت ان هي تساعد الاولاد دول وفتحت مدرسه الفخار وبدات تعلم الاولاد دول. وبعد ما اتعلموا، الجيل بتاع الاولاد دول خرج بره وبدا يعمل ورش فخار خاص بيه، وبدا كل واحد بقى عنده زي نظام ورشه، زي نظام المدرسه كده بس على ورشه حاجه صغيره، وبدا يعمل الشغل بتاعه.
انا مبسوطه ان انتوا دخلتوا الفخار في المشاريع التانية، يعني بتفرشوا دلوقتي اوتيلات بالفخار، بتتعاونوا اهو في مطاعم انه الحاجات اللي بيقدموا فيها يبقى من الصناعه برضو اهل البلد.
عشان طبعا هنا الاجانب هي حابه الفخار، هي جايه اصلا من بره عشان تشوف الفخار والخزف والخضره والفلاحين والحاجه الريفيه اللي هي هنا طبيعه القريه.